So in today's session, we're going to do a little bit more of a typical Hatha class. So what we've done so far in the classes has been kind of breathing and moving. And in this class, I'm going to invite you to do a bit more awareness of what's going on inside your body with particular postures. And the idea is that certain postures have different energetic outcomes for us. Some make us feel more awake and more alive. Some make us feel more calm and more relaxed. And so with this, we're gonna pay attention to what is happening as it's happening. And we're going to include a bit of breath work as well. So to come to mute yourselves and then come, actually I'll mute you guys, don't worry about that. Just come to lie down in Shavasana. So lie down completely relaxed on your mats. Okay, I've said that I'll mute you all, but now I don't know how. Okay, I've done it. All good. Okay, so come down to lie in Shavasana. Get comfortable, get loose, get open down to the floor beneath you. Close the eyes, take a few big breaths out through the mouth. And then really drop all of your awareness into your body. Become aware of points of sensitivity and points of numbness. Become aware of points where you notice old injuries or aches or pains. And then see if you can become present to more subtle sensations in the body. Heat or coolness, tingling or vibration. And then really drop into the breath, dropping into the breath and into the body. So often our awareness sort of swims around our head and our face. We forget that we have this whole body that we are part of, and this whole system that is connected to our mind. And then we're going to do a really simple movement called dynamic Shavasana. And all you do is, as you breathe in, you slowly reach your arms up and all the way overhead until the backs of your hands are touching the floor. And as you exhale, you release the arms down to the sides of your body. As you breathe in this time, use the legs as well. Flex the feet, engage the legs, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, sweep the arms down, relax the legs, let the feet fall open and apart. Inhale, lift for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, sweep down for 4. Relax the legs. 3, 4. Inhale, 6. Point the toes. 3. Flex the toes, sorry. 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 7 if you can. Slowly moving all the way through that 7 count. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, relax the legs. 2, 3, 4. Do one more round of that 8 count inhale, counting in your own time. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Release the hands to the floor. Pause for a moment. Notice whether you start to feel your awareness moving upwards into the upper parts of your body, into the chest, around the armpits and the throat. And then bend your knees and place your feet on the floor just below your body. And we're going to do that same motion, but lifting the hips up as well into dynamic bridge pose. So we start here. And as you breathe in, you lift the hips up as high as you can. So use your thighs to support you. Reach the arms all the way overhead. And then exhale, release the hips down, release the arms down. Breathe in for 6. Lift the hips. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath here for 2. And then exhale, roll down just for 4, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 6. Nice and strong in the knees and the thighs. Hold. Exhale. Keep moving and counting in your own time. 6, 2, and 4. Take one more full round after the one that you're on. Then come back down. And again, pause for a moment. Notice how the body is waking up and warming up. And then leave your hands, palms facing downwards on the mat, slightly out to the sides, and lift the knees and the feet off the floor. Okay, take a breath in here, hold steady. And as you exhale, lower both of those knees about halfway down to the left-hand side. And then inhale, lift to center. Move slowly with your breath, slowly lowering halfway down. And drawing back, using the strength in your lower body to lift the core to twist back to center. If you want to make it a bit stronger, you can straighten out the legs. Or you can come a little bit deeper in that side twist. Really slowly and steadily using the core to support you in this really fluid movement. Building stability and stability and support around the base of the spine.
Take one more slow sway to each side. And then you can relax in the center, hug the knees in towards you, and roll the lower back from side to side. And now you're going to roll forwards and backwards along your spine until you come up to a seat. We're going to move straight into a version of Navasana, boat pose. We're going to start holding the feet up and holding onto the backs of the thighs. So everybody, no matter sort of what your strength is, we'll all start here. So holding that strength in your spine, like there's a rod in your back, and holding this boat shape, this V shape between the back and the thighs. Okay, then what we're going to do is straighten the legs out in front of you. Lift the arms overhead. And what may even be a stronger pose is Dandasana, the staff pose. You're going to hold the chest lifted, using the belly button to lift your sit bones forwards and extend the legs and have all of the muscles of the legs engaged. Hold here for 2 more breaths. And then on your next exhale, we're going to rock back into our modified Navasana, 5 breaths here. If you want to make it a bit stronger, you can just use as little weight or support in your hands as possible. 2 more breaths here. Exhale, straighten those legs, flex your feet, reach up to the ceiling, inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, roll back, Navasana. 5 breaths here. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw your shoulders down your back. Hold yourself lifted nice and tall. We'll do one final round if you can. On your next exhale, rock back. 5 breaths here. Keeping that V shape between the legs and the back. Last inhale. Last exhale into Dandasana, staff pose. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lock yourself into the shape. Our whole body is engaged in this motion. 2 more breaths. Last inhale. Exhale, release. Okay. If you want, you can hug the knees in or just sway the knees from side to side for a moment. Good. Okay. And then swing yourself forwards and over onto your hands and knees. Take a minute or so to take any stretches that feel nice here. So if you want to move through a few rounds of cat-cow pose, or stretch forwards in child, or really anything that feels good. Just make sure that whatever movements you're doing, you're breathing deeply. Try and breathe with each movement. When you're ready, after you feel like you've done a bit of a movement, a bit of a stretch, then come back to a neutral spine. Place your left hand underneath your face in the middle of the mat. This one's a bit tricky. Have your left knee in line with that hand and reach your right foot out. So your whole body is now turning to face the right-hand side of the room in a modified side plank. Hand, knee, and foot in line, and right arm lifted. This might be quite tough on the knee, Jane, so if you can't do it at all, then don't worry, but if you can, then put a cushion underneath that left knee. Or otherwise, Jane, you could probably try doing this sitting back in a cross-legged position and just leaning over to the side. Okay, what we're going to do is stretch the right fingers overhead, slowly reaching all the way away, again, like somebody was stretching your arm away from you. And then as you exhale, we're going to reach that hand all the way over and rest it on your right thigh. Inhale and lift for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath and keep stretching for 2. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. So you can count in your own time if you like. Inhale and lift. Hold. Exhale. 2 more. Hold. And again, final round. Bring your attention to the upper parts of the body. As you draw that breath into the chest and the throat. As you hold, lock that breath into the upper body. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. We're going to keep moving with this momentum in the upper parts of the body. You're going to lift all the way up into a gate pose. So everybody should be facing the right-hand side of the room. Your weight is balanced between the left knee and the right foot, which are both in line. Right toes facing to the outside edge of the mat. Hips facing forwards. Spine tall. Slide your right hand down your right leg. Inhale, reach up with the left. And as you exhale, pour those left fingertips overhead, aiming those fingertips at your right foot. Now try and keep your spine tall. Avoid rounding forwards, which some people do, or maybe arching back a little bit. We want to stay in line. Again, a bit like you've been slotted into a toaster, or at least the upper part of your body has. Take a few deep breaths into the left side body now. Breathing on the inhale as deeply as you can. Couple more breaths here. Try not to put pressure directly onto the knee joint. Either rest that hand above the knee or below the knee. And then very slowly lift. You feel a lot of movement through that left side body now. Slowly bring yourself forwards to your hands and knees. And then we'll take a moment to stretch by lifting up, if you want, all the way back into your downward facing dog. And taking a bit of time here, a bit of slow, juicy movement. Notice the difference between the sides of your body. Perhaps you've opened up a little bit deeper through one of those poses. You notice movement through the upper part of your left chest or the right side of your chest. And whenever you're ready, you can slide forwards and back into your all fours position.
And we'll do the opposite side this time. So last time we had the left hand in the middle of the mat. This time we'll have the right hand, the right knee, and the left foot. Inhale, start to reach overhead, stretching the fingers as far away from you as you can reach. And then exhale, reach the hand all the way down to rest on the left thigh. 4 rounds, in for 6, hold for 2, out for 4. Count in your own time. Don't forget to hold at the top of the inhale. Notice how this might be affecting the depth of your inhalation. We've created more space through the left side of the body. There's literally more space for your breath to move into as you breathe in. More space to increase your capacity to breathe in new energy. Breathe in new things, new change. Good. After you've done 4 rounds of that breath, you'll slowly rise, find your gate pose. Left knee and right knee, left foot and right knee in line. Slide the left hand down that extended leg. Inhale, reach up with the right, and exhale, open. Keeping the chest facing forwards, or at least facing out to the side. Same practice here, creating space through the right side of the body for a deeper breath. Also, another important element of lateral poses is to remind us of the imbalances in our body. As a reminder of the way that our body adjusts as we come to meet the world. To give a bit of attention to those biases that we have in our movement. And then we're going to slowly unwind ourselves from this shape. Slowly come forwards and move yourself into a bit of a stretch, whether that's downward facing dog or moving through all fours. Whatever feels nice for you in this moment. And we will all meet in a downward facing dog. We're going to start by lifting the right foot off the floor, breathing in. And as you exhale, hold that leg lifted. We're going to hold that leg lifted for 3 more deep breaths, using all that strength in the core and the glutes that we started to build earlier on. Try and keep both hips square to the mats. 1 final breath in. As you exhale, we'll slowly bring that knee towards the nose and slowly place that foot up between the hands. Good, then lower your back knee down. And if you feel comfortable enough to, then you're going to start to lift the chest. So in this lunge position, engage the glutes, sense a little tuck of the tailbone so that you are supporting yourself here. If it feels really uncomfortable through the groin, then you can have your hands on your knees or your hands on a block, or even staying on the floor. If you're comfortable here, you're going to stretch up to the ceiling. Tilt the head back a little bit, lift the chest up and open. Breathe in, stretch the fingers up as high as you can. And as you breathe out, bend the elbows, draw the shoulder blades together and bring the hands down to the side. That's the motion. Inhale, lift up for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath, lock the breath into the chest. And then exhale, bend the elbows, draw the shoulder blades together for 4, 3, 4. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. One more. Inhale. If the neck is uncomfortable, then you can lengthen the back of the neck and gaze forwards. Hold. Exhale, draw the shoulders together behind you and bend the elbows. Good, that's a really energizing one. Bring your fingertips down to the floor in front of you. Curl the back toes under. Lift up into a high lunge. Hold yourself steady here, bending into your right knee. This is a strong practice, so don't worry if it's wobbly or a bit challenging. Have both hips square forwards, interlace the hands behind you, reach them back, draw them to the back of the room. And if you can, again, slightly lift the chest, maybe even slightly tilt the head back, breathing deeply into the chest. One more inhale. Exhale, finally release the hands down. Step back into a downward facing dog. Ooh, maybe pedal the legs out or just take a pause. Okay. Inhale, left leg lifts to the ceiling. Hold both hips square forwards. Exhale, hold steady. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in, kick the heel even higher. Exhale with control, bring the knee forwards. Place the foot up between the hands. And if you can, sink the knees down, sink the right knee down. Take a moment to get comfortable in this shape. Noticing the different sides of your body. Perhaps you'll be doing a bit more, a bit less on this side. A little bit of engagement through the base of the spine, through the glutes. Maybe you're going to reach up and open the chest. Or maybe you're going to stay here and just balance, holding onto the knee. If you're reaching up, inhale to stretch the fingers up as high as you can. Hold for 2. Exhale, draw the shoulders together. 3 rounds, in for 6. Hold for 2. Exhale for 4, shoulders together behind you. 2 more. Good. After that second round, bring the hands to the floor. Get steady as you curl the back toes under, lift the back knee and find your crescent lunge. Interlace the hands behind you. Draw them back to the back of the room. We're going to hold here for 3 breaths, maybe lifting and opening the chest to the ceiling. Good. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly unwind. Bring the hands down, slowly move back. And take a moment in any counter pose that you like. Downward dog or child, or a cycle through cat-cow.
Noticing how the body responds to all this powerful, powerful stuff. And then we will all meet in downward dog. And from there, we're going to ripple forwards from the toes into a plank position. Nice and steady in your plank. If you feel like the hips are sagging down at all, then you can drop to your knees straight away. See if you can slowly lower down from here, squeezing the arms into the sides of the body. Come to rest the chest and the tops of the feet on the floor. Okay. We're going to do the same breathing sequence for a couple of rounds, moving through dynamic cobra pose. But before we do that, we'll just warm up the back a little bit more deeply. So we'll take a few rounds of baby cobra. So on your next inhale, I want you to lift up and lift the hands away from the floor. Just one breath in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, squeeze just the hands and the chest away from the floor. Exhale, lower down. One more. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Exhale, release. On your next inhale, bring a little bit of pressure into your palms. Lift a little bit higher than your baby cobra, but keep using the core to lift. And exhale down. Twice more. Inhale, lift, using the butt and the back, as well as a little bit of pressure in the hands. And exhale down. On your next inhale, you can find your deepest back bend. Inhale, rise, pressing through the palms, creating that tension through the lower back. Breathing in deeply, and exhale, lower down. Couple more times. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last one. Good. Okay. So leave the hands where they are. Open the feet a little bit wider apart. What we're going to do is inhale to slowly lift for a count of 6, coming all the way up into your deepest comfortable cobra pose. Hold the breath at the top of the inhale for 2. And then exhale, lower down for 4. Take 2 more rounds, counting at your own pace. When you finish that second round, you can release your arms down to your side, rest your left cheek on the mat, and take a break for a moment. Turn the right cheek onto the mat so you even out the stretch in your neck. Take a pause. Feel your body assimilating all of the movement and the breath. Okay, so stay as you are for now. I'm just going to explain what we'll do for the final part of the class. Is we're going to finish with our deepest back bend in camel pose. And then from there, we'll move through a few calming postures before we come into Shavasana. But before we go into our back bend, we're going to slow things down just enough so that your body is very stable and calm. You don't want to be too kind of pumped or too excited or activated when you move into a back bend, because you can sometimes go too deep, or you can just generally over excite all the parts of the nervous system that the back bends touch into. So we're going to come slowly back into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, slowly rock forwards to your hands and knees. Exhale deeply here. And if you can, keep the breath held out. And at the end of your exhale, just lift yourself back into a downward facing dog with no breath left in the lungs. And whenever you need to inhale, then you slowly rock forward into all fours. And you repeat that sequence of movement. So moving into downward dog with no breath left in the lungs. We're slowing down the system a little bit here. And encouraging the ability to find stillness beyond the breath. And when you finish your next round, you're just going to slide into a child's pose. Maybe resting your head on the floor or your head on the back of your hand. And sense that you're drawing all the energy that you might feel flooding around your body, drawing that inwards. Kind of like a battery supply. Okay. And then we're all going to come up together to sit in a high knees position for our camel pose. I was just thinking, for anyone with knee problems, instead of taking the camel pose, come back to the bridge pose that we started with, where you're lying on your back and you lift your hips up high, and you might even be able to snuggle your upper arms under your upper shoulders. Otherwise, for those of you who feel ready to move to the next posture, you're going to sit with your knees into the mat and your toes tucked under, and crucially your thighs really switched on. So your glutes and your thighs and your knees are really supporting you. They're your foundation in this movement. Start with the palms on the lower back. I like to have the fingers facing upwards. So there's a slight internal rotation of the shoulders. Switch on the glutes, switch on the thighs, and start to tilt your head back, lift your chest up. And maybe stay here. Maybe this is where your limit is today. Maybe you feel comfortable to lower a bit deeper and drop one hand onto one of your ankles. Maybe both. If you're taking both, keep pressing the hips forwards, keep squeezing the legs, lifting the chest up to the ceiling. Maybe letting the head fall back, although sometimes that's a bit too much, so sometimes you need to support the head. Couple of breaths into the chest. And then slowly we'll step through those processes out of the pose, hands to the back of the lower back. Gently lifting the spine. Untuck the toes and sit back onto your heels. Take a pause with your hands upwards on your knees, your eyes closed. And ingesting all the sensation of that strong back bend, that strong chest opener. We're going to do one more round of that practice. You're welcome to join me, or if you want, you can just stay here and ingest what we've already done. If you want to join me again and come a bit deeper into the back bend, then leave the tops of the feet on the floor.
Check in with your lower back. If you sense any pinching or any discomfort at all, then take a break. Hands on the lower back, glutes and thighs engaged, lifting the chest up, pressing the hips forwards, and maybe tilting the head back, maybe taking hold of a heel. Good. Breathe deeply into the throat and the front of the body. 2 more breaths. And then we'll slowly move back out. Hands to the lower back. Slowly straighten the spine. And then sit back onto the heels. Hands facing upwards, shoulders relaxed. Whew. So back bends wake us up, sending energy upwards into the brain, into the lungs and the heart. So if you can sense that movement. See if you feel more awake, more enlivened. Okay. Then we're going to slowly move into a seated position, cross-legged. Interlace the hands in front of you. Slowly draw those palms forwards and breathe in as you lift the hands all the way up. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Sense that you're lengthening your spine. It's quite nice, creating space through the upper parts and the lower parts of the back. And then we're going to release the fingers and fold forwards. This will look different for all of us. You might have your hands on the floor. You might have your head bowing down. You might have your head resting on a block. We're going to be here for a few breaths, so get comfortable in whatever shape of forward fold that you find yourself in. So notice how your breath feels in response to this pose. Forward folds are calming and restorative, the very opposite of the camel pose. Do you feel your body responding to this pose in that way? Do you feel like you're calming and slowing down? All together, we will slowly unwind to sit up. Change the cross of your legs. So whichever leg was in front, turn behind. Interlace your hands the most unnatural way. Breathe in and stretch up. Hold for a couple of breaths. Last inhale. And then exhale, release and fold. Soften the face and the mouth. Drop into a breath that feels calming. Slowly bring yourself up to a seat. Slowly lower yourself down to lie on your back. Have your knees bent and bring the right ankle to rest on your left knee, right foot flex. Interlace the hands through the thigh and gently draw the knee towards you. Keep that right foot flexed. And if you want, then take a little bit of a roll from side to side. What we're going to do is see if you can wrap your right leg over your left, and then see if you can let those intertwined legs fall to the left hand side. When I do that, my right shoulder lifts up off the floor, and I want to keep that shoulder on the floor, so I have to unwrap my legs. But if you can do it and keep your shoulders on the mat, then give it a go. If you can turn your head over your right shoulder, then try that. Find any depth of this twist that feels comfortable. Slowly move to center. Both feet on the floor. Left ankle over right knee. Left foot flexed. And if you can, bring it towards you and take a little bit of movement. When you're ready, wrap left over right. Maybe keeping them intertwined as you twist. Maybe releasing the legs, finding your own size or shape of a twist. And when you're ready, you're going to slowly bring yourself into your final pose, your Shavasana pose. Give yourself any adjustments that you need or any props that you want. Make sure that your spine is straight. We've done a lot of work with moving the spine laterally, or a bend or a fold. So to give your body the rest it needs and to allow it to assimilate the work of your practice, then keep that spine long, the back of the neck long. And then let your body open up to the floor.
few big exhalations through the mouth. Until you feel ready to let every part of your body soften and release. Every part of the face feels like it's just melting down over the bones towards the floor. The trunk of your body is sinking down. The limbs falling heavy and sinking into the floor. Allow your body to rest in complete peacefulness and stillness.
Keeping your eyes closed, start to become aware of sounds around you. Start to feel your way back into the body. Maybe rolling the joints. Maybe stretching overhead. Whenever you're ready, roll over onto your right side. Take a few breaths there. And then finally, slowly come all the way up to a seat. We're going to finish with a couple of rounds of alternate nostril breathing to balance you out after that quite energizing practice. We'll take a slightly different hand position as we have before. So bring the fourth finger and the thumb together and the first two fingers together. Rest the first two fingers in the center of your forehead, the spot that marks the positioning of your third eye. And then the thumb halfway down the right side of the nose, the finger halfway down the left side of your nose, Begin with a deep breath through both nostrils, inhaling, exhaling completely. Close the right side of your nose, inhale through the left. Close the left, exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Continue the cycle for a few more rounds. The next time you breathe out through your left nostril, bring your hands to rest on your knee. Keep your eyes closed, spine tall. Bring your awareness to that point on your forehead where you might still feel the warmth or the moisture of your fingertips. Draw your awareness 2 or 3 inches back from that point into the midbrain, roughly between your temples. And from that point, sense that your brain is soaking in a bath of white light. An energizing and nourishing light. Sense that light is activating your brain, revitalizing your senses. Slowly to bring yourself out of the practice. Become aware again of sounds around you. Become aware of the space that your body encompasses on the mat. And bring your palms together, thumbs against the heart center. Bow your head forwards. Take a moment of thanks for anything or any number of things that you're grateful for in this moment.